So apparently, we had the California Congressman Robert Garcia, the Democratic leader on the House Oversight Committee. He received the Epstein files, and it gave critical insights into what lawmakers have received and perhaps more importantly, what they have not received. So basically, with this, according to Garcia, there are over 33,000 pages of the Epstein backlog of information and evidence and files and depositions that have been delivered to Congress. And honestly, at this point, 33,000 pages sounds like a lot, but when it comes to something so deep and so intricate, 33,000 pages, yes, is a lot to go through, but there needs to be a lot more. So because they went through these pages, the congressmen, with the pages that they got, they only received 3% of new information. So the 33,000 pages they delivered, only 3% of it was new information, and the remaining 97% had already been made public through prior releases from the Justice Department. So there was really nothing new, but the documents included surveillance video from the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York from the night Epstein died in his cell, which we already received. I know they said that there was a minute missing from that tape, and I think they actually released that minute. Did they? I think they released that minute. Let me just double check my sources here. The missing minute. So, yeah, apparently, allegedly, as of late of July 2025, which would have been 2 weeks ago, it has been reported that the FBI, the Bureau of Prisons, and the DOJ Inspector General possesses a complete unedited copy of the Jeffrey Epstein jail video that does not have a missing minute. However, the version has not been released to the public. So, with the missing minute, the video showed a 1 minute gap in the on-screen time code, skipping from 11:58 p.m. to midnight on August 9th to 10th, 2019. This prompted new questions and fueled conspiracy theories surrounding Epstein's death. I don't understand, in regards to that missing minute video, I don't understand how, as our government, they would release that video and think we're foolish enough not to examine it. Like, we're not FBI creatures, especially as women. Like, come on. You think we're not going to examine and notice that there's a minute missing from that video? I think it was very stupid on the Department of Justice's part to release that video with that missing minute, but then say they have that missing minute in its entirety, but they're not going to release it. That's so crazy to me. It's like they really think the public is foolish, stupid, no brains in between their heads. But every step of this presidency and his last presidency, we have been calling out each and every stupid lie that he has delivered to us on a silver platter. So I don't understand what was the goal of releasing a video in regards to a death that everyone already is assuming is a self-unaliving. Like, it doesn't make any sense, and pretend like we're not going to question it, and then on top of it have files about what happened that night, as well as files dating back to the early 2000s, and then you're going to have our president continue saying, oh, y'all are so stupid for asking for this. Why are we talking about a dead man? Trying to change the topic by throwing anything at the wall that will stick to get the attention off of him and his involvement in the wrongdoing of Jeffrey Epstein and that whole scandal. So the documents included the surveillance video from that night. It included Supreme Court filings from Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's longtime associate, now serving a 20-year sentence for child sex trafficking, a Justice Department Inspector General's report into Epstein's death. I actually want to look into that. I want to see if I can find that real quick and read it, because that would be interesting. But then again, everything is a lie in this administration, so you take it with a grain of salt. And a memo from Attorney General Pam Bondi to FBI Director Kash Patel. So this is everything that has been 33,000 pages of the files that have been released, that have been made public, but only 3% of it that the congressman received from the release was new information regarding that Epstein debacle and that whole case and the fraudulent and the deception and the corruption revolving around it and in it. So only 3% of new information came out. So he said basically, Garcia, the congressman, basically said the committee received very little new information, raising concerns that the full truth is still being withheld. And at this point, I think we all know the truth is being withheld. We all know that the truth is Donald Trump was a major player, a major kingpin in this corruption to hide the evidence that has been supplied but not released to the public. Not only a kingpin in regards to the deception of trying to make sure that we don't know the truth, but he's been a kingpin in regards to the trafficking that happened between the early 2000s, that happened between Jeffrey Epstein, and he knew everything about it. So for Ghislaine Maxwell to come out with this interview and this transcript from the DOJ, it just doesn't sit well with me, because not only you're now telling us we need to believe a known liar, someone who was perjured herself in court in 2016, someone who went to jail for child sex trafficking and engaging in these illegal activities. Now the government is trying to tell us that she is a credible witness. She is a credible source to disprove Donald Trump's involvement in any of this disgusting activity. Explain it to me. It's like we're in an upside down world, like in the Twilight Zone. We're supposed to believe a sex trafficker and a liar? This is insane. It's like we're in an upside down world. And honestly, it's just, at this point, it's about understanding the facts and truth about this all, especially when it comes to our government, because obviously right now our government is covering this up. Our government has been covering up. And I'm not placing full blame on Trump here. I'm also placing blame on Biden's administration for not releasing what they had. It doesn't make sense. There has to be a bigger fish to fry than our president. That's why it's being covered up so much by many administrations. So that is basically the update on the Ghislaine Maxwell situation and the Epstein files. We still have yet to receive any sort of documentation that implicates any high-ranking officials or people in the world, not just this nation, but the world. And it's annoying. It's upsetting. It's like, why are you taking so long? And I doled out my theory, my alleged theory, yesterday during my stream. I said they are taking this long because they are combing through those files to make sure Trump's name is not implicated in any way, and anyone that could have been implicated is not in cahoots in paper trails to Trump. That way they can release these doctored files that removes any implications or wrongdoing, that removes any sort of legal proceedings that could go on to Trump, and send him to a court of law to be adjudicated for the crimes that he associated and helped in and contributed to. So that way they can, say, Trump's not a part of this. There's no way. Do you see all these files, the files that have been corrupted and, redacted and completely just destroyed of actual evidence? Trump was never a part of it. Here's the documents. Doctored documents. And it's sad. It's sad that our government is choosing to cover up the PDFs because they're billionaires rather than protecting victims over and over and over and over and over again.